Hey crypto traders, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. It is an altcoin bullish environment out there. We'll break down what we're seeing in terms of who's standing out. Pretty much the names that we were watching as our strongest names. In the last few videos, we've been ranking coins, and it's not necessarily because they were breaking out. It's because they were holding on much stronger comparative to Bitcoin. And now they are certainly breaking out because of that setup and because the Bitcoin dominance chart is dropping. So got to give a shout out to our Chart Guys member Myth, who created this infographic. And it's pretty much just showing you if Bitcoin is trading a certain way and the dominance chart is trading a certain way, what does it mean? So recently, over the past few days, we've had Bitcoin going up and the dominance chart going down, and that means the alts are rising faster. When we're seeing Bitcoin drop and the dominance chart drop, that means the altcoins are holding up, but they're still inhibited by that correlation. When Bitcoin is sideways, and Bitcoin has been in a 6% range for the last 13 days. So when Bitcoin is sideways or going up and the Bitcoin dominance chart is dropping in that environment, that is your best environment to be an altcoin bull, because it allows the bulls to not have to worry about bearish correlation to Bitcoin, not have to have Bitcoin bulls stealing the show and getting the attention, and the altcoin bulls getting the attention. That's on our Twitter feed, posted a couple days ago if you want to save that. So Bitcoin, again, nothing really going on. We have a daily trend change. We had our low, high of the bounce, higher low. We did get a higher high yesterday. When that bull break occurred, the 4-hour time frame was overextended. Healthy consolidation, back testing, holding the 4-hour exponential support, and not doing anything today. So again, that is an ideal environment. The past few days, we've gone up and we've traded sideways. And that has allowed altcoins to go up because the dominance chart is dumping. Everything changed once we got bear follow through under this level. We had 65.58, 65.52. We had been watching the potential of the weekly bear flag on this bounce attempt, and it was boring. We were just trading sideways. And now we're getting the bear break and follow through. RSI is oversold. We're down at 23, but all you got to do is look back to the last all-out dump that we saw. RSI got down to 12. So we certainly know it can go lower. Bigger picture on the dominance chart. What does this mean? For me, this is now all about two support levels, 64, but the most important, 61.98. If 61.98 breaks, this monthly downtrend continues, and from there, we'll really be viewing it as, let's see if it's a yearly equilibrium. Might be a 6-month to be better. Let's go 6 months. So it'll be a high, low of the dump, lower high on the bounce. And if this 6-month chart continues to pull back, altcoins could have a really nice end of 2020 and 2021. But what we have to see is, again, that monthly chart needs to break these supports. We could possibly see those supports hold and a bounce and trade within this tightening range for a while. That's always a possibility as well that we need to be keeping an eye out for. But pretty much the level to write down if you like trading altcoins is you want to see this chart break 61.98. That'll be very notable if that level were to break. ETH/USD standing out strong. Looking at the weekly time frame, we're not going to disregard the correlation to the S&P 500 because, again, the S&P 500 chart and the ETH chart is the same thing right now. And let's pull up the futures chart. This is the monthly time frame. Little bit of a bearish candle in June, but no follow through in July. Let's look at ETH on the monthly. Little bit of a bearish candle in June, no follow through in July. The weekly, we know ETH, healthy consolidation, holding exponential support on the back test, and trying to make its way back up to the high of June. S&P 500, weekly time frame, back test of weekly consolidation, exponential support, and making our way back up to test that high. Even percentage-wise, it's pretty much the same thing. We need a bull break of 2%. ETH probably needs a bit more than that. S&P 500 needs 2%. ETH needs 6%. And again, then we're looking at a key resistance level from back in February. And look at the S&P 500. Where is our key resistance level? It's the all-time high from back in February. These are the same charts. So you have to be paying attention to the S&P 500. Bitcoin is not the same chart because it's a bit weaker. The weekly bounce is not getting nearly as much follow-through. If we were going to be in the same spot as ETH and Bitcoin and S&P 500, Bitcoin right now would need to be up around 9,700, upper 9,000 range for that to be the case. And obviously it's not. So pay attention. Worst case scenario, in my opinion, for the altcoin bulls, technically speaking, and for the cryptocurrency space as a whole, would be the S&P 500 to reject from its high of the COVID bounce and lose the weekly uptrend. But again, there's no sign of that happening right now. We just had a bull break take place on the daily time frame to start this week. And what the crypto bulls want to see is the S&P 500 break the high of the COVID bounce and confirm this weekly uptrend continuation. So pay attention to that if you are a crypto trader. ETH BTC, there was a bit of an initial red flag on breaking this weekly equilibrium and not seeing follow through. That being said, we also did not break support, which again wasn't ideal for bulls, but it kept them content for the time being. So the most important support is 242, this double bottom, and now we're trying to get this follow through. These bulls would love a break of 2613 because if we clear that level, that means we clear multiple resistances, and then from there we're just looking at 2851. So 2613 is the most important level on the ETH BTC chart, but this is a very notable bull break on a long-term, many-month pattern that has been playing out. And as long as the Bitcoin dominance chart stays weak, we're going to look for this chart to stay bullish, which means ETH is a better bullish pick than Bitcoin is. Link, lead bull, breaking out in a huge way, and it just exploded when we had a ton of resistance levels at 496, pretty much between $4.90 and $5. There was a lot of resistance, and as soon as that level broke, there was just stop buys. There was stop covers. Let's just try that again. There were stop buys from the bulls, and shorts were covering on that level breaking, and we just rocketed up 10% in about a half an hour and getting solid follow through. So the daily time frame is in blue sky breakout mode. We know to be looking at our back burner trades now. Our back burner trades, our first 5-minute oversold conditions. Let's see if we got that last night. And we did. So look at that first 5-minute oversold condition. We came real close to 545. We then bounced 3%. We came real close at 542. We then bounced 6%. So very nice responses. And again, these are the back burner trades because they're not trades that we're necessarily looking for right now. The 5-minute RSI is nowhere near oversold. And now that we've seen that 5-minute oversold RSI, I am less, well, actually we got a new fresh all-time high. So we're still watching for the first 5-minute oversold. But I call it a back burner trade because it's not a trade that's incoming in the near future. But I know that when those conditions come to me, when the trade comes to me, that we're looking for that as a potential entry point. And we know that the first hourly oversold conditions, we'll be watching for the same thing after such a significant bull move. Hourly uptrend, anything above 554 is an hourly high or low. If we lose the hourly uptrend and the hourly 12-period exponential support, which has been a nice visual guide, if we lose that level, we're going to look for a 4-hour high or low compared to 542. And actually, so 554 and then 542 are the two support levels. And $6 psychological resistance. ADA USD has also been a standout bull. It had a slow and steady grind up, formed a little quick bull flag, and now is seeing continuation as well. Weekly time frame, weekly bull flag confirming in a big way. 10.687 breaking is a very notable long-term bull break. This monthly chart is breaking all nearby resistance. Again, after 10.687, there is no nearby clear resistance on the monthly chart. Just keep in mind, a lot of these coins will have to confirm monthly trend changes to see confident, consistent follow through as far as, maintaining an uptrend for 6+ months. So this is definitely a very strong move. Tons of space on the weekly for a higher low. Anything above 942 on the daily is a higher low. And we've got our hourly exponential 12-period support as a visual guide. Hourly uptrend, when we lose it, zoom out and look for a 4-hour higher low. Tons of space. So we've been used to playing the zoom out game for bears for a long time, where we're just looking at EMA resistance after dumps and on bounce attempts. Now it's the opposite. We're looking at EMA supports. If we lose the hourly, just zoom out and watch the 4-hour and look for a 4-hour higher low. VET USD, haven't been covering this one for a while, but the first time I covered it was maybe a week or so ago, and the bulls are not letting us down. We had a really nice equilibrium that broke bullish, and it's been very significant follow through. We did have a bit of a tightening range here, but we did not lose the 4-hour uptrend. So here's an example where we did lose the hourly uptrend, and as soon as you lose the hourly uptrend, you zoom out and look for the 4-hour higher low. So the last 4-hour higher low was 14.1. We have the 4-hour, 12-period exponential support as a visual guide that's been holding for a significant amount of time. And any name that looks like this on the daily chart with this amount of breakout, we're watching the back burner trades. First 5-minute oversold and first hourly are the most consistent as far as what I have observed. And this goes to stocks. This goes to cryptocurrency. I learned it in cryptocurrency and started applying it to stocks. And we are working on an alert that is going to target scenarios that lead to high probability bounce plays based on significant bull runs being followed by some first oversold conditions. XTZ USD was a lead bear. We dropped to a lower low here on the daily where not many other coins did, but very quickly following through. And this is the kind of setup where when you get a bear break and a lack of follow through, what do you look for? You look for a falling wedge. So here's your bear break and a lack of follow through, and there's your breakout from this 4-hour falling wedge. And granted, I did not see this before the break. In hindsight, it's obvious, so just want to be fully transparent. This was not an obvious setup for me before the bull break took place. Daily time frame, so significant move, but that being said, we're not nearly in the same standpoint as all the other altcoins we just looked at, because anything under 313, which is still 30% away, is just a weekly lower high. There's another little weekly resistance at 286, but 313 is the most important level. Binance, also not really staying out as a bull, but following through the last 2 days. Weekly time frame though, anything under 1820 is just a weekly lower high. So names that still have weekly lower high resistances to be watching, or I should say weekly resistances to be watching, different animal than the ones that don't. LTC, definitely one of the weaker names, but getting a bounce finally. That being said, anything under 49.90, just a weekly lower high. So those three names, and XRP as well. So XRP was one of the weakest names, got the bounce, but weekly time frame, we're just looking for a lower high compared to 213, which is 15% away or so. So those four names that we just looked at, yes, they've seen a bullish move, but it's not nearly the same thing as what we're seeing on these names that are breaking out significantly on long-term time frames with a lack of resistance nearby. So congrats again to the bulls. I'll post the link to this image in the description or in the comments of this video. And again, you want to see the Bitcoin bulls hold up, but you're certainly fine if we trade sideways as long as the Bitcoin dominance chart keeps dropping. Congrats again to the bulls, and let's see. I mean, best case scenario right now would be for the S&P 500 to break to a higher high. In my opinion, that would just be a little bit of a turn on of the FOMO juice in the altcoin space as capital remains confident. Do good things, and we'll see you soon. We've got some newcomers in the harvest. The first string beans, first carrots I've taken, and the first potatoes. These are tomatillos and ground cherries, beets, carrots, beans, potatoes. This is some elephant garlic from the garden with the name for obvious reasons.